Hello, this is Steve Barcelo from the Cryptozoology Museum. We're down in the museum here. I'm here with Jonny Tucker. We're going to talk about a sighting he had. Actually, it was the day before our festival. We purposely did not talk about it at the festival because we thought it would look funny.
Kind of suspicious.
So tell me what you saw.
Well, it's about 2.5 weeks ago. I was cruising between Hollister and Medoc. It's a country road, 2-lane road. I've taken it hundreds of times before, both directions. And I seen a creature. It crossed up on a hill across the road. It was a few hundred yards ahead of my vehicle. And it went from my right to the left. And it was wooded both areas on both sides. And it went back into the woods on the left-hand side.
What color was it?
Here's the weird part. It was a two-tone color, which is really important because the head and I was watching it from its left profile. So the head and the left arm was either a very, very, very dark brown or it was a black.
Okay.
The body was a tan. And that's how I was able to. When I was going up the road, I was the road has a straight part to it, and then it goes up an incline, going up a hill. So when I was on the straight part of the road, and by the way, this is 2:30 in the afternoon.
Matter of fact, you just left me because we were setting tables up the day before.
Exactly. Yeah? And it was cloudy out, so there wasn't any sun that would kind of cast any kind of weird shadows or everything. I was going down the straight part of the road, and the hill was ahead of me. It had been a few hundred yards up. There was a pickup truck, and it was pulling a like one of those car hauler trailers behind it.
Flatbed sort of thing.
Yeah, it was more like a fifth wheel.
Okay.
It was coming down the hill, and I was still on the straight part. And I noticed something on the right-hand side, and it wasn't exactly on the road, but it was off to the shoulder, and it had to have been about 400 yards up ahead of me. And I was like, man, is that like a busted tree up there? But I was like, that doesn't make any sense because it's way outside of the tree line. And as the truck and the trailer was coming down, when I first seen it, it was right between where the truck and the trailer would be.
Mm-hmm.
And as the trailer was coming down and it passed its position, what this thing did was it swayed back, and then it went into the road. And then by that time, I was like, well, it's got to be a hunter. I mean, they hunt with dogs up here all the time. He's probably lost his dog, so he's probably just looking for his dog up there. But the first thing that was weird is that even though that the truck and the trailer was on the downslope, this thing was like massively taller than the highest point at that moment.
Right.
And by the time it got into the center part of the road, the center lane, the truck and the trailer had gone down the hill far enough that I just had like a full view of it. And what I had thought was a tree standing on the right-hand side was actually its left arm, because I'm watching its left profile the whole time. Right. It was actually its left arm all the way down to its side. And I can see this really weird shaped head, and it was just big. It looked like a giant football. It was peaked on the top, and it was peaked on the bottom. I'm assuming where its jaw was. And it wasn't like how a human would be. If a human's standing there, your head is on your shoulders and your neck. This thing its head was forward and down a little bit. And I had a clear view of it. First thing that popped in my mind was the Beauty and the Beast cartoon. Mm-hmm. If you look at a side profile of the Beast and how its head is positioned, right, that's how it looked. I ran into a guy at the event who had a Bigfoot t-shirt on, and he had an illustration of a Bigfoot, and the way that its head was positioned on its body looked exactly like it. I mean, it was freaky looking. Like I said, it was huge, side profile, looked like a football. As it moved into the left lane, its left arm was down the whole time, and that thing just glided right across the left lane.
No hop at all?
No hop, no jive, no bounce. It just glided right across.
How fast was it across the road?
It was walking. I mean, I'm assuming that if it was running, it would have probably cleared that road in like about a third of the time. I would say just 5 or 6 seconds when it was from the right hand side over to the left hand side.
How far back were you at that point?
When it was in the center part of the lane, I was probably about 300 yards. I was always still on that flat part of the road. I did not hit the incline at all, because if I would have hit the incline, I would have changed my angle of view. So I was always on the flat part of the road, just like looking right up at it. And it went across the left-hand lane, just glided across, and when it over on that side of the road, you have a real narrow shoulder. I mean, you really can't even park your car there. And it's just like a step up. It's like a 3-foot step up, and then you're into the woods. What it did was stepped up and turned away from me a bit, where I can see its left shoulder, and that's where I can see the hair on the back, the tan color hair.
Okay.
And then it just went up into the woods.
What do you think on height?
I think height, we went there and estimated, I think it was between like about 7.5 and 8 foot.
Okay.
Yep.
Decent size.
Yep.
And this is your first sighting?
It is the first sighting, 3.5 years. I'm out there in the woods.
And you go out there all the time.
Yeah.
You're diehard. Now, the area you went in, that you guys went back, I think you went back with George,
Yep.
too. Did you find anything there as far as look like
I went
prints or anything like that?
Did not find any prints at all. It was real hard. The only up where it came from, there was a like a dirt kind of like where they use 4x4s, 4-wheelers, but it was a mixture of red clay and gravel. So there was no, it wasn't, you couldn't find a footprint there. When I seen it go past and then I went up and back the road, I was kind of hoping that maybe the bottom of its feet was wet, and maybe it would have left kind of like a wet print up on the road, you know, like when you get out of a pool. But there was nothing there.
Broken branches. Could you find any kind of trail on the other side where it entered the park?
I see. Well, I seen a trail on the right hand side,
Okay.
but there's a open spot over on the left hand side that it could have gone into. Yeah. Now, a few days later, we went back and I went into the woods where it came out of. And out of all that little section of woods, there was a bunch of trees that were down, and they were kind of laid in like a weird pattern. It was almost like a one here, one on top, one on top, one on top. Really strange. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's natural or not. Just I got some pictures to throw up there too. Went over on the other side where it went into and left an audio recorder up there for about 2 days. Got some tree knocks. The majority of them were pretty much out in the distance. I did get 2 that were relatively close. It was about 10 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Now, these are the ones you gave me on the jump drive
Yes,
today.
yeah.
Okay. So we'll play those. We'll take a little in between here, put some of this stuff in.
Yeah, but this, no way, shape, or form, this was a human. It was a creature. I mean, the shape of its head, the position of its head on the body, especially. I mean, there's no way on earth this is a person.
That's impressive.
It's crazy.
That was just so crazy because he actually reached out there when he literally came over in the morning to help us set up tables at Lakeland Cultural Arts Center for our festival. And then he's going like, "You good?" We said, "We've done what we can do." And he says, "Well, I'm going to run down to the park." And I guess it was like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
You reach out and go, "I saw one."
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell, you know?
I think I just happened to be just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've had a lot of daytime sightings. People are
Yeah.
always skeptical. We talk about it. I mean, Jesse Walker across the street, and
Yeah.
that was 2.5 years ago. That was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, Ebony Bird, 4:30. Tiffany Merrill, that was, what, 5:30 in the morning. I mean, it's just like daytime sightings are common. I mean, it's, you know, people call them day watchers and stuff, but I don't know about that. I don't want to pin anything to that.
right.
But it's not unusual, that's for sure.
Well, I know they're out there in the afternoon because we had a lot of tree knocks in the afternoon, a lot of trees getting busted over. It's just trying to get it right at the right place at the right time. I mean, if I would have been looking down at the radio or fooling around with my phone or something, I would have probably missed it going across the road, you know, just like that. So.
And the stride, when it went across, could you get an
It
idea
was
of stride?
no, I couldn't because I was too far back. But it looked like it was taking its time though. It looked like it
Didn't
was.
look at you as a threat at all.
I didn't even know if I'm pretty sure it heard me coming up down the road, but it was pretty much focused straight ahead. It didn't look my way at all. I think it was just trying to get from point A to point B, and it didn't look at me at all. It just kept on going. And like I said, I'm assuming that it was walking just at the time that it took to go from point A to point B, and it really wasn't like really hustling at all.
Now, you talk about the other truck coming down with the trailer.
Yeah.
Now, you thought this thing was a branch on the side of the road, or part
Yeah,
of the
yeah. I
tree.
thought it was a busted tree.
Now,
And it was between it when I first seen it, when it was on the right hand side, when I first noticed it, it was between the truck part where the truck and the trailer would hook up. So I'm not sure if the guy coming down seen it or if it had stepped out after the person, in the cab passed it.
the vehicle itself moved past. So it was standing literally just at the tree line waiting to cross, and then with this guy.
Well, further out from the tree line.
So he was in view for that
Yeah,
guy in the
yeah.
vehicle.
And I'm thinking if this thing was not a two-tone, if its head and its arm was not a darker color, if it was all tan, I probably wouldn't have noticed it until I had gotten up closer to it.
Yeah.
But that's what really stood out was just the arm and the head being the darker color.
Now, could
It was
you-
amazing.
Could you ever see any kind of facial features, or was it just a side view?
It was a side view, but if you're thinking like a football, the outer kind of curve, it was a little bit lighter than the overall part of the head. I could kind of see something, but I was still too far back though. I just noticed that the outside where a face would be was a little lighter.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was too far back. And I was too far back to see if it was a female or if it was a male or get any kind of like muscle tone to it. Just seeing its right shoulder blade when it was going up into the, taking that step up. But what it did appear to be was not so much the barrel chested, like really barrel chested, like the picture you got, pretty thick.
Right.
It seemed to be more tall and slender.
All right. A leaner one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I've got to ask the questions. Everyone's going to get
Oh, yeah.
upset if I don't ask. Did you smell anything?
No, I was, but when it went into the woods, I was still 200 yards away, and when I got up to the area where it crossed, I couldn't see it back there. No, I didn't smell anything. No,
Now, you guys.
I was in my vehicle.
Yeah, but I was thinking even when you got back and you pulled back to take a look,
Yeah, no, I didn't smell anything.
But when you guys went back to look in, George mentioned that area where it crossed into the park was fairly thick.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he was actually to the point where we have a really bad tick problem here. The ticks have been amazing. Everyone that's been in the park's gotten ticks on them and in them and stuff. I've heard story after story. So George was freaking over that. But he was talking about how he was looking to see if there was basically a path that went through. Did you see anything that you would say as like a trail?
There
Trail?
was one up there that had some trees the trees that were close to the road kind of busted out. That something could slip in there, but then again, I mean, it's pretty thick. Like the briars and stuff are growing up. But I mean, I went through there, in and out of there a few times. So there's quite a few.
There's enough area for them
Yeah.
to get through without
Yeah,
breaking
exactly.
trees and things of that sort.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. That's a great
it was
sighting.
amazing.
Okay, we got to get back down there and really check things out. Now that I'm done with these festivals and the event we had here, maybe we can get back to the park and spend some time. Now that I got an assistant, we have the rescue dog. Well, thank you very much for your.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and
Yeah,
it
this is
was
great.
it was amazing. I wish you guys could have seen it. I mean, just looking at its head and the shape of its head and how it was positioned on its body. I mean, it's going to stay with me a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It was like when George had his first sight. He was screaming into the phone, and everyone gets so excited. I mean, I had my first sighting quite a while ago. I was actually with my daughter, but I was kind of questioning because it was this black silhouette in the distance. So, but it was not just that, but the series, the print, and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
the weird noise we heard. So I know it's crazy when you see him. It's life changing.
It is. It is. I mean, everything at that moment, everything just came together. I mean, you're out there, you're finding footprints, you're hearing trees getting busted down, but there's always like a question mark at the end of
Right.
the day. But this here, I mean, there's no question mark.
Right,
It was,
you know
it was
now.
solid.
You're 100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too when you're on the stage. You and Johnny were talking. Somebody goes, "Have you ever seen one?" And you just let that deer in the headlight look like, I don't want to say it, And we passed it to George.
actually ran into that lady afterwards when everybody was down camping overnight, and I kind of explained why I kind of froze up on her like
Right.
that, and explained what happened.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And actually, that night we went back to after the night after we did the festival. We had Medoc out, and Texas Ted was with us, so we went down to the park to do a little Bigfooting, and we went down and what was the trail you saw the prints on first? Stream Loop.
Yeah.
And we actually got some prints there, and actually I've got one printed up here. It was a lot of rain, so it was actually the reason we were turning around was the trails were flooded, and most of us didn't have proper footwear. We
Right.
were just sneakers and stuff, and Ted had to get on a flight and fly back to New York and stuff. But we literally just started to turn around. You found the print on the side, then we found another print
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
right in the trail. And this is a bare naked print, and who's out there once again with naked
Exactly.
feet out there in that kind of weather, especially with all the mess that was going on. But yeah, it's been nonstop around here.
It's awesome.
But thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate
man,
it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk to you soon.